Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We bring you stories of faith, love, and devotion. Yeah, just kidding, please help us grow by hitting that like button. Now on to the story. My f26 husband, m29, is obsessed with my boss f38 and it's all my fault. I started this job about 1,5 years ago. I can't say what it is because I want us to stay anonymous and our country is very small, so my boss would probably be recognized. The moment I started I felt like I was in the right place. My boss, the owner of the company, is very cool and kind. She's self-made and she loves her job. She does a lot of the dirty work herself that bosses who have 30 to 35 employees wouldn't have to do. But she just loves it. On top of that, we have a 6 hours workday, our salaries are 20% higher than the market and we have 7 paid vacation weeks a year. Her reasons? She appreciates us and she's getting richer anyway. I was so proud of working with a woman like her, so I wouldn't shut up talking about her to my husband. Especially in the beginning. My husband was as fascinated by her as I am until he met her in a company party last Christmas. She must have been beautiful when she was young. She could have been a model. I think his fascination became a crush or an obsession, or maybe worse, love. Now he follows her on SM. Her accounts are private but he stalks her with my account. He also follows the company IG and likes every picture she's in. He asks about her all the time. She's a very private person, but when her divorce from her ex-husband was finalized in the beginning of this year, we all found out because he started showing up to work. He owned half her company now and he started to try to make changes in our work hours and salaries. We found out that her husband had cheated on her with a younger girl who he also tried to employ in our company. She still works with us. She, probably lawyers involved, eventually convinced her husband to sell her back his share. We're still in this process now. My husband has followed all this and he was so sad for her. And so angry. How could anyone do this when they had a woman like her? If it was him he would cherish her, love her, blah blah blah. Who leaves a woman for a girl? I got very angry and told him that all men prefer younger women if they could choose. He laughed at me and told me only losers do that. The last drop was last Friday. We were out for a movie night and we saw my boss with a young man. He looked to be in his mid-20s. My husband lost it. He didn't know that she dated younger men. He wanted us to go say hello but I refused and yelled at him to control himself because he looked pathetic. When we got home he was frantically going through her SM. Until he found the guy and he sighed in relief. The guy was her nephew and we didn't see the whole company but they were out with other family members. My husband was so happy, like a weight lifted off his chest. I lost it on him. I started crying and yelling and told him he was in love with her and he was shocked when I pushed and kicked him out of our bedroom. I locked the door. He stood outside trying to calm me down, telling me he loved me and I'm his girl and always will be. Then he said something that ruined me even further. It's not like someone like her would look my way. I haven't slept since then. Why is he feeling like this? Is it love? Infatuation? She's too old for my husband, so what is it? And why would he think he couldn't have her? He's very handsome and still young. She should feel lucky that a young handsome man likes her. And does he mean I'm less than her to accept him? Or is it purely her money and status? He refuses to admit anything. And what can I do now? I love this job. I love the benefits. Thanks to this job our life has improved and we can afford more than just the necessities. I'm starting to hate my boss though, and I hate myself for idolizing her in front of my husband. Edit, sorry this is getting longer. But I have spoken to my mother, sister, granny and some friends about this. And about what happened last Friday, and they all think I'm making a big deal out of nothing. You know your husband is at fault here. Not you and not your boss. He's acting very inappropriately and the things he's said would make me feel very insecure as well. Put the blame where it lies, at his feet, for saying and doing the things he has to make you feel this way. I would say either attend therapy together or even separately, or consider a break. You need time to evaluate this situation properly. And your family isn't being very supportive by dismissing your very valid feelings. I wouldn't be asking them for advice going forward. I get they are cheaper than a therapist, but they are clearly being biased. This is not your fault. Your husband is on the hook for this one. It's not like someone like her would look my way. It sounds like he's saying that if your boss gave him a chance and looked his way, he'd probably jump at it. I understand why this is like the straw that broke the camel's back. You don't trust this as a reassurance of anything other than your right to feel betrayed. Deal with the husband and try not to take any of this out on your boss. She, hopefully, would most likely not look his way, not because of his age or anything else, but because he's married to her coworker. The fact he got that upset seeing her out with a guy is beyond a red flag, and I would tell him he needs to figure out who and what he wants. Unfollow her media, not bring her up at all, and maybe even couples therapy. I also know Up likes her job, but there needs to be some distance here, whether it's a change in jobs or a strict we don't talk about my boss type arrangement is up for you to decide. Don't bring him around the company even for special events. He's lost all his privileges because he can't even fake it. What an idiot. Yeah, keep the job. Dump the husband. Smile. He wouldn't hesitate to cheat if she gave him a chance. 100%. Sounds like the boss and the job are great. The husband not so much. Dump him and live a great life. I just found out that my husband, separated, is dating my boss. I don't know what to do. Hi, I'm in so much pain and I don't know what to do. I don't want to do something stupid while hurting. I got a lot of good advice last time I was here, so I don't know, maybe you can help me this time too? My old post is linked in my bio. I hope you read it before this one because I don't want to tell the whole story again. I went against my family and friends and asked my husband for separation. I felt like my heart couldn't take it anymore. My intuition told me that my husband wasn't all mine. This was shortly after the event at the movies. My husband was in total confusion. He said that I was making a mistake, making a mountain out of a molehill, but he moved in with his brother. We decided to start couples counseling too. It went well the first 3 weeks or so, but my husband became more and more reluctant to participate, and sometimes he just cancelled on me at the last second. He stopped showing up this month, and he also stopped calling and texting me. I was even more heartbroken, but it just solidified that my intuition was right and that I was doing the right thing, seeing that he is not interested in working on us anymore. I chose not to quit my job. I still loved it with all the heartbreak, and I really needed the benefits. Like, I'm the only one I know who is having a 3 weeks paid vacation around Christmas and New Year. I never see my boss anyway, and she doesn't even know of my existence. My husband eventually stopped being active on Instagram, and I thought it was normal because we were going through adversities. Yesterday when his brother shared my husband's stories of the night. My husband was in a restaurant holding a woman's hand. I could only see her hand. So my husband has just blocked me and my family and friends from seeing his updates. I commented WTF? And this morning my husband called me, for the first time in months, totally scared, and started begging. Please don't ruin this for me. Please don't ruin this for me. I asked him, what do you mean? He said, don't tell her about us. I never made the connection at first. It never ever crossed my mind even. That woman in the picture was my boss. I started crying and screaming at him. How could you do this to me? How could you tell me that it was all in my head when it's obviously all over your Instagram? He said it just happened. I dumped him and he was single and just happened to find her on a Bumble. He begged me not to ruin this for him. She knows he's in the process of divorce, but she doesn't know that he already knew who she was or that she was the boss of his STBX. They have been seeing each other for 6 weeks, about 2 weeks after I asked him to move, and it is getting serious. He begged for a good 5 minutes, telling me how he hasn't been this happy in all his life and that I shouldn't ruin his happiness since, again, I was the one who ended our marriage. I have been crying since this morning. I don't know what to do. I want to ruin him and his happiness, but I don't know if I have any right to do that, and I'm so worried about losing my job. Please help. Edit for new information. Okay, my husband has been calling me non-stop and I have now answered him. He is panicking about me telling her everything, so he begged me to give him the chance to tell her himself. His words were, "I never stalked her or creeped on her. I just fell for her and was scared that she would think I was creepy since you thought the same. Give me a chance to tell her the truth at my own pace, so at least she doesn't think I'm a liar or a freak like you seem to think." He still swears they matched on Bumble. I didn't know what that is until now, but it is like Tinder. I'm just devastated right now. He has no regard for me and my feelings. Everything he is thinking of is not to scare her away. When I told him this, he said that I was the one who left him. People fall out of love and that's okay and no one's fault, and that I was in the right for ending the relationship, but I was the one who ended it all the same. Don't hurt us and I promise to give you everything you want. She is happy with me, so don't hurt us. Wait, so they met at the company Christmas party? Does she know he is your husband? Girl, you need to talk to her. Look, don't worry about losing your job, because if they become serious, do you think your boss will still treat you fairly? There is a high chance he will give a different story. Update us once you talk to her. Do this for yourself and be strong. She probably didn't recognize him because he told me that she thinks they met on Bumble. As everyone else has said, you need to tell her. You also need to tell her what happened in your relationship before and how he was constantly stalking her on social media and the comments he made to your face, as his wife, before dating her. You can't double guess yourself. You have a voice. I see in the comments that you're really debating it because he thinks you did it because you're bitter. Of course you're bitter, you were in a marriage with someone you loved, and vindictive. Who cares? He's a ducking asshole, and you're also worried about her and what she might think. Please, you have a voice. Do not stay silent. None of this is your fault. It's all on your ex-husband. I hate seeing how women lose themselves because of what might happen. Look at what your husband did to you. Really, take a step back and look at what he did. He doesn't deserve anything good. If I were you, I'd have told her a long time ago. And who cares what she thinks? Personally, I would find it disgusting that a married man was actively looking for me on social media and being angry for seeing me with someone else while he's married. What she decides to do is on her, but listen to me if you read this comment. Do not hide. Edit, spelling. Second edit, thank you for the award, crying face, crying face, crying face, crying face, crying face. Also, his behavior toward the boss. That's creepy. It's just creepy. I'd wanna know if some dude was stalking me to the point it broke up his marriage. That's an obsession. It's not cute. It's gross. And dangerous. Not to mention, no matter how much he says he is not a stalker, his actions prove otherwise. If it's legal where you are, I suggest you record your conversation with your boss, or at the very least, communicate in some form of writing, but not using company email, Slack, Teams, etc. Get your ducks in a row, and update your resume. Chances are, she may thank you when she learns how this really went down, if your story is more or less accurate, but you never know. I wish you good luck and good fortune. Your ex sounds like a creep. I just found out that my husband, separated, is dating my boss. I don't know what to do. Update. Hi. Please see my previous posts because this is just the update. I talked to my boss yesterday, Monday, after lunch. I told her everything. Basically how I was so happy I found this job, how I looked up to her and was proud to be working for someone like her, and that this rubbed off on my husband, who grew more obsessed with her each day. I apologized for using obsessed because I didn't know how things were between them, but that it was how I perceived his feelings. I told her about the day at the movie and how it basically made me realize that our issues were greater than I thought. I told her that I know and accept that my marriage is over and that my husband didn't love me anymore, and that the reason I'm telling her now isn't to judge or blame her but to let her know the whole story, because it's just fair that she knows that he has been following her life for over a year now. Because from what I understood from my husband, you are under the impression that you just matched with him on a dating app, I said. She was silent the whole time I was talking, just listening to me until I mentioned the dating app, and that's when she interrupted me. That's not how we met. He has been a patron at my gym for the past 6 months, maybe a year, she said. I know her gym, it's the one across our workplace. She works out there every morning before coming to work. I didn't know he had joined it because I knew him to be a member at the gym near our home. He has been, without telling me, working out just across the street from me every morning without telling me. She looked like how I felt, shocked. I apologized and told her that he has kept dating her a secret from me and that he begged me not to talk to her, telling me that he hasn't been this happy and so on. She didn't say much, just thanked me for telling her. Today she asked if she could talk to me. She apologized for everything that happened to me and asked if I needed any help. I said no. She thanked me again. When I got home, my husband was there. He had called me at least 50 times, but my phone was on silent. He was crying, calling me bitter and vindictive and pathetic. He said I ruined his relationship and future. She is scared of him now and it is all my fault. He wants me to tell her that he is not dangerous nor is he a pervert. He wants me to tell her that I was the one who wanted a divorce and that people fall out and in love and it is nobody's fault and neither is it creepy. He hasn't done anything wrong. He stayed faithful to me and would have stayed that way if I didn't kick him out. He asked me if I ever felt unsafe with him to make rumors about him being a stalker and a creep. I should tell the truth. I asked him to leave and that I'm starting the divorce and from now on he could only contact me once I got a lawyer through them. I have been crying since he left. We haven't seen each other for weeks and he had no feelings whatsoever for me. He looked demented and full of sorrow like a broken little boy. How could he change this fast? Before we separated he held me and begged me to believe him and his love for me. Was it all a lie? My whole entire relationship? Good night and thank you for the support. This is a throwaway and I will be deleting it soon. I just thought I would update before doing that. Thanks for updating up. I'm glad you got to tell your boss and that she listened to you. Now you know how much of a creep your ex is. He openly stalked her at the gym all year and your boss is quite rightly scared. I just can't believe he would have kept all that crazy inside himself if you'd stayed together. I'm concerned for you, Op. You shouldn't be living alone while your ex is behaving so desperately. Can you have a friend come stay? Op, don't answer any of his calls. Save all messages and voicemails. That man is unhinged and you and your boss should be careful. If this behavior continues, please look into getting a restraining order. Also, please keep your boss updated and show proof of any erratic behavior so that she can take the proper steps to protect herself. Also, change locks, passwords on all accounts and get cameras. This. And watch your back. This is just so sad, but you definitely did the right thing. And your boss too. Sounds as if boss lady has also been mature and reasonable, not taking it out on Op, but ending the relationship with the creepy STBX. Adding in that him wanting you to pimp him out to her is just straight delusional. He talked about how much they had bonded in such a short time, but I bet she was just enjoying a few nice dates with the guy who had been hitting on her all year. Edit, this is still his house, so until you have a separation agreement you may get into trouble changing the locks. She was rebounding after a rough divorce and likely had a low image of herself. Someone so completely infatuated with her was probably very validating, especially a younger man. Vulnerable and stalked, with inside information. It is a good thing Op told her boss. That is some messed up stuff. Seriously, stalkers really hate being called out. Make sure you lock your door and windows at night and when you leave. I would hate for your ex to gain entry. We hope that by sharing these stories with interested folks like you, we can help people recognize the signs of a relationship in trouble, and avoid so many of these heartbreaking situations yourselves. Have a good day or night, wherever you are.